So much of things that we need to see about. Surely I do have to spell them out. Cause you know as well as I do, the only way is put in more effort and less play. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us go hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together. This also goes for every Trinbagonian who want to live in a foreign land. Now is the time to come home and do something, instead of staying out there and freezing. Because now, more than ever, we must show.
Welcome to the dynamic, well, not the dynamic hour, correction, the hub. In fact, I was doing some stuff in preparation for the dynamic hour tomorrow morning. So welcome to the hub. Again, we have a unique opportunity to talk using radio and social media to connect. So I want to encourage those on Facebook and YouTube to please share the live. Sharing is caring. When you share the live, you give your friends, your colleagues the opportunity to be a part of the conversation, to listen in or to chime in. I want to start off by saying today I had a really good laugh because those NNP pundits, meaning folks who are on radio pushing the NNP agenda, they were trying to come up with some excuse as to why the NNP rally had such a poor turnout. So you had one saying it was because of the rain. You had another saying it was because of the big rally, not rally, sorry, the big bingo up north. And you had another saying, well, the people didn't have to come out because you have a live streaming of the rally. And look at the amount of people who viewed the rally. 11,000 people viewed the rally. So they were trying to come up with some excuse, some reason to feel good. There was one who put in a little reasoning in the thing to say there is no excuse for a poor turnout at an NNP rally. Because normally the NNP would have a good showing. They would have a lot of people going to the rallies. And we are not saying that they don't have support. We are not saying that because both political parties have support in the country. But the mere fact that the NNP is celebrating 40 years as a political organization and they organized this rally and they promoted it to be a massive rally, a big rally in Keith Mitchell's backyard, we expected a better turnout. We expected people to turn out in their numbers at the rally. You had a visiting Prime Minister, Andrew Holness of Jamaica. You had a former prime minister, that's Alan Chastney of St. Lucia. And we know they're all a part of the Democratic Union. They're all a part of that grouping within the Caribbean where they support sister parties. So you see our beloved prime minister, he is close with the prime minister of Dominica, Roosevelt Skerritt, the prime minister of St. Lucia, Philip J. Pay, the prime minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, the prime minister of a number of other islands, St. Vincent, and we can go on, right? A number of them, it's like a pack. You have Bermuda, you have the premier, I think, of Bermuda. You have the prime minister of the Bahamas, and a number of those political organizations and prime ministers and leaders and so on within the Caribbean. So the mere fact that you had two very important people at that rally, you expected the turnout to be good, but it was very poor, poorly attended, poorly organized, and it speaks to the state of the NNP at this point in time. The NNP is going through a serious crisis. There is constant infighting within the NNP, right, for leadership. You have this side versus that side. I mean, real problems within the NNP. And they are not able to properly organize anything. We have seen that in the last many months. We saw the youth event in MacDonald College. That was an epic failure, poorly attended and not well planned. The thing was Vike, Japa. That's not how the NNP used to be, especially when they were in power. And then you had the town hall meeting in New York. That too was bust. Poor showing, poor everything. It was poorly organized too. Then you had a bingo, a fundraiser, a bingo, and that too was bust. Then they had the event at Pier 57. The turnout was very poor because the money they were charging, most of the NNP supporters cannot afford that. So you could see the writing is on the wall for the NNP. And just like the GULP, who was buried in the Center Cemetery with Uncle Gary, the same fate will befall the NNP. And I can tell you, the GULP is waiting to welcome the NNP in the Center Cemetery very soon. Because the NNP is a dying breed. People don't want to associate themselves with that brand, with that party anymore. Because we have more educated Grenadians, smarter people who can reason, who can think. And when they look back on the NNP stint or time in power, they realize Grenada was stuck. Grenada regressed. Grenada went backwards instead of forwards. And people are seeing that. They realize that is the state of play with NNP. One man controlled the NNP for all the years. Never saw the need for, understudying somebody, having somebody to success him. Never saw the need for that. And all of them just got old together. All of them who are part of the NNP, they got old together. And now you see a situation where Peter David, they rope him in. The guy went into the NNP. He thought that they were actually welcoming him with open arms and, turning that page of bitterness and hate and that kind of stuff. But when you listen to the rally, when you listen to the banquet or cocktail event they had, you could see that is not Peter's home. The NNP is not where Peter belongs. Because all that they spoke about cannot be a party with Peter in it. When they talk about the ideology of the NNP, the founding principles of the NNP, and that kind of stuff, what they're actually saying is that, Peter, you're not welcome here. And they're trying their best to push him out. So he's standing firm, and let's see what will happen on the 15th. But for now, when you listen to the NNP, you realize they're really saying, Peter, this is not your place. Right? We used you to get where we wanted to, and now we are in opposition. We have no use for you. We have no use for Peter. We have no use for Chester and all the others. And it's taking a toll on the psyche of the NNP supporters. You go around and you listen to them. In fact, one who was a strong man for the NNP, he said, well, Keith Mitchell cussing the NNP, X and Y, and the NDC going to break that one-term curse now, right? Because Keith Mitchell putting the thing on a platter for the NDC, you hear him start talking in that language. So it's clear. It is clear the NNP is in real problems, right? Serious problems. And Grenadians are able to say, we ain't going back to the NNP. And I think that is where people are at. They don't want to go back to the NNP. They don't want to see a Keith Mitchell in power anymore, or Emlyn Pear, or Kate Lewis, or the whole clique who normally runs the show when NNP is in power. They don't want to see the Roland Bowler, the Gregory Bowen, and all these guys anymore at the helm. They don't want that. So as a result, all the NNP events are poorly attended, and people are not gravitating towards the NNP's message. Because the NNP only recently had town hall style meetings, and not town hall, but zonal meetings. And I told you that those zonal meetings, they're a fake crowd. In other words, it's the same people they bus in to all these zonal meetings. And it's not that the NNP is growing in numbers. The NNP is not growing in numbers. And I told you so because I have been following what is taking place with the NNP. So they have a lot of opposition pundits, people on radio stations, on podcasts. They're out there talking, saying stuff. But if you want raw numbers, you can look at Facebook and YouTube to look at raw numbers. That's raw data. And their numbers not growing. Their numbers not growing. And this thing is simple to assess. So you have some opposition pundits. So you look at Andrew Donald, you look at his station. So you have Francis Pear, his program. You have Carl Caton, Devon Romain, and Devon Romain and Gates. They have a thing going, they have a program. Then you have the Prince James guy. He has a program. Then you have Sheldon Scott. He's on a program too. And then you have Jenny Simon. She has a podcast too. But they're the opposition forces in the country. All right? But when you look at their numbers, they're not increasing in any way. You look at Sheldon Scott, on average, he will speak to 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people on average. And the people who can consume the information that he's disseminating are predominantly NNP supporters. Because a person in the middle will not stay long to listen to him. Because all you get from his program is negativity. All you get from his program is stuff to make government look bad. In other words, he has nothing positive that he can highlight or talk about. So he can wear you down, he can beat you down. So he's not speaking to the middle. Definitely. He's speaking to the NNP supporters. And many of them, they don't use Facebook, they don't use YouTube. And if they have radio, they may listen to the program there. But generally speaking, they're not like that because they are not fully lettered, a lot of them. There's a high level of illiteracy among the NNP supporters and a high level of poverty. So even the affordability factor where radio is concerned, that too might be a challenge to a lot of them just to buy a radio, to get a radio. So I am saying again, it is clear. You just look at his numbers. All you need to do is to look at, and Talking Points is NNP flagship program. That's NNP flagship program. Talking Points. So while he may have 600 or 700 people viewing him, right, at once, when you look at the actual numbers, right, the actual numbers you have to look at. So if you go back and you check the numbers of the many programs that he would do, they're bordering on YouTube in particular because, for them, Facebook is not a biggie. So they may have 1,000 something people viewing on Facebook, or viewed their program, or 2,000. But on YouTube, 3,000 something, 2,000 something, 3,000 something, 2,000 something, maybe a 4,000 something. It depends, right? 2,000 something, 3,000 something, 4,000 something people. But you're looking at him speaking to 6, 7, 8,000 max amount of people, and you're talking about a voting block of 80 something thousand people. All right. And they would share that program on so many platforms, a lot of different platforms, just to try to get the numbers. And then you have the Francis Pay guy. He's an opposition force pundit. I can't say he's NNP or NDC or PLM or GLP. I don't know his political affiliation, but he's definitely anti-government when he speaks on his program. So he's for the opposition forces. And when you look at his numbers is not impressive. On YouTube, 1,000 something people he would reach. And then, Real FM don't really reach much people. Real FM up north, it's a station that really doesn't reach plenty people. One or two people in St. Andrew, one or two people in St. Patrick. But it's not a big station or a popular station. And then you have Carl Caton, Devon Romaine, and Igwe. That program doesn't reach plenty people. Same 2,000 something people on YouTube, right? And the radio station is not that popular. And then you have Jenny Simon, opposition forces again. She speaks for the opposition forces in the country. Her program, if there is something seriously controversial, she might get 10,000, 11,000 people, 12,000 people to view, because NDC people going to take a little peep, NMP people going to take a little peep. But on average, generally speaking, her numbers is same 6, 7, 8,000 people. Sometimes 5,000, sometimes 4,000 people. But that's the same set of people who would go and look at Sheldon's program, who going to go and look at Francis Pay program, who going to, because, they're anti-government. They're more on the NNP side than anything else. So their numbers not growing. They're not able to reach a good block of people. They can't speak to the people in the middle. And they would never convince the NDC people. So you have NDC supporters, and then you have the people in the middle. They could only speak to their supporters. So while they would be on their platforms and so on, pushing a certain agenda, they are not reaching a lot of people. They're not getting that message to a lot of people. And then the government is performing well. So it's making it even more difficult for them to get a little space, the opposition forces in the country, to push their narrative or their agenda. So it's becoming more and more difficult for them. That is why every single thing that the NNP organizes, for example, it's not being successful, right? When I am on this program, I speak to the folks on uh, Vibes 101.3 FM and 106.3 FM. This radio station is very powerful. This radio station is very popular. Popular in PT Martinique, popular in Carriacou, popular in Grenada now. And when I say now, with the upgrade, we are able to reach people in their private vehicles easily. If you are in your private vehicle and you're going home, or you're going to work, or you somewhere, you can easily listen to me on Vibes 101.3 FM and 106.3 FM. We are powerful. Vibes FM radio is way, way more powerful than Real FM, right? We reach far, far, far more people than them. And besides that, I am on YouTube. So while I do not pay a lot of attention to YouTube, on average, I will still speak to over 3,000 people viewing me from YouTube. On average, right? On Facebook, on average, I will speak to 11,000, 12,000 people, 14,000 people, because I will do a morning program and I will do a nightly program. So on average, I would speak to a good 14,000, 15,000 people, right? Sometimes only one program alone on Facebook, and I would speak to 15,000 people, just one program, besides the two programs every day. And when you add the YouTube amount, right? So 3,000 plus 15,000 or 14,000, you're looking at sometimes 17, 18,000 people on social media alone. And the data is there to back it up. And then you're talking about radio, where I would speak to a good 5, 6, 7,000 people. So you're still looking at 25,000 or so people I would actually speak to on a daily basis, and sometimes a little more. And then people are going to speak to other people and the message is going to spread. That's how it goes. So more and more Grenadians want the positive news. I heard some folks today saying that they are very happy that Afi Fletcher, that female cricketer, she got awarded by the government, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, with a diplomatic passport and $80,000. And they are very happy with that. They love to see how the government is showing respect, not just talk, tangibly supporting the young people of this country who flying our flags high regionally and internationally. Then you have this doctor lady who is involved, I think, in the Olympics and that kind of thing. All right. She was awarded with an official passport and 5,000 US. And then you have others who got the title deed for lands that the government gave them. So they have ownership. That's theirs. They could build something on it. They could pass it to their children or children. And then the government gave a number of them 100,000 US and all kind of stuff like that. And then you have some of the other athletes who get 5,000 US and other things like that, which is really great. This is good. People love that. Positive news. You have, as I said this morning, orderlies, nurses and so on, who got retroactive pay and who, some of them were made permanent, regularized and so on. Right? And they're happy. More money in their hands to do stuff. So Grenadians are seeing that this government cares about people. So while the NNPs out there, they have a lot of, talk, and they're on different platforms. And then you have the opposition forces, because there are some people who are not NNP, but they're just opposition, opposing the government. They have all kind of nasty or bad things to say about the government. Right? So I am extremely happy that people want good things to happen for Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. People are fed up with the negativity. You hear people saying they would listen to the NNP programs and so on, and all they're hearing is negative, negative, negative. And they fed up with that. Because any reasonable thinking person would say, but only negative things you could say about the government with all the good things that they're doing for people. In fact, this morning there was a lady who called the Plead Your Cause program, attacking the folks of the Ministry of Agriculture, specifically Maribor, right? With the sweet potatoes and so on. And today I learned that this same person who called the Plead Your Cause program, and she went as far as to say, well, if we started doing the next election, the people are going to speak, vote them out? Is it vote them out? Or she used words to the effect that the people are going to, some kind of stupidness, she said on that program, the lady. But the reason why the government or the people in the ministry or the folks responsible for that area is doing that, those vendors would go and buy the potato, the sweet potato, from the farm, right? And they would buy it for $3 a pound, $4 a pound, or less. And they're going to go and sell it for our Grenadian people for $10 and $12 a pound, right? And $8 and $9 a pound. That is what they're actually doing. So the government, realizing that they're investing a lot in agriculture, the farmers are getting so much assistance, money, plants, fertilizer, just name it, right? And the government is trying to bring down the high cost for those local produce, because it's unfair that the government is giving all that support to those farmers, and when they produce, they're not bringing down the price of their goods so they could get fertilizer at concessionary rates. They could get plants at concessionary rates, and in some cases free. They would get farm labor support to clean their lands, right? And taxpayers' money paying for that. They would also get cash assistance in so many other areas. And we can go on and on and on, right? I am saying, I think the government must insist, with all that assistance that they're getting, that when they produce, that the price should be reasonable. Reasonable. Because when they bring up the price, they're not bringing it back down. So it don't matter if plantain, for example, come back lap and cut in the country, the price of plantain not going to go down. They're not going to drop it. The price of the same green fig or bananas and blogo and so on, they're not bringing it down again. Once it goes up, don't matter if it comes back plentiful, they're leaving it right there. That's what they normally do. Look at the coconut, for example. Since after Hurricane Ivan, when it damaged after Hurricane Ivan and Emily, and it damaged the coconut stock and so on, and they started bringing the coconut out of St. Vincent for $4 and $3 and $5 and that kind of stuff. The price never dropped. If you go to the supermarket or you go anywhere to buy the coconut, it is $3 and $4. That is why people prefer sometimes to just buy the packet of coconut powder or the tin. While the taste may not be the same, you understand the point, but the price not going down. You look at a bottle of coconut oil now, it's $50 and $60. They're not bringing down the price at all. And no matter if it gets plentiful. So what the government is trying to do, and the Ministry of Agriculture, is to make sure that they don't increase. So they go on the farm, government farms, and Maribor and so on, and they would buy the sweet potato for $4 and $3 a pound. And they go in and sell it for $10 and $8 and $9 and so on a pound. So what the people on the farm is saying, no, we're not going to do it. We're giving you a limited amount. And they're selling it directly to people out there who want the sweet potatoes. And they're selling it at a reduced cost. And I think that's a good move. I think we should see more of that. And then the price of stuff will go down. Because if the government could produce plenty tomatoes on those estates, plenty cabbages and carrots and other things like that, lettuce and broccoli and da. Once they mass producing, then they could actually control the price. And I think that's a good idea. Because we are not saying that it should be so cheap that the farmer should make. We're not saying that. But what we are saying is it shouldn't be too expensive that the ordinary man cannot afford to buy the basics. Because somebody might just want some sweet potatoes, right? A little dash in, some blogger, some fig, a little piece of yam. That's basic, right? The cucumber, the tomato, the lettuce, some sweet pepper. Well, don't even talk about salad pepper and that kind of stuff. It's $8 and $9 and all kind of stuff. The basic stuff. I am saying we because government is pumping a lot of money in agriculture. So why when you produce, you're getting all that help from government and your thing is so expensive, so much, and they're not bringing down the prices. So this woman called the Plead Your Cause program and she had all kind of stuff to say. And then you get to understand why the government is doing what they're doing and why the Ministry of Agriculture is doing that. Because they're vendors, they're going to buy a whole pile of the sweet potatoes to sell. And they tripling the price. And it's just like you have Carib, Stag, Heineken, and so on, and Guinness and so. You go and check how much the breweries increased it by months and months ago. In some instances, $2. In some instances, $1 or $3. And then you have people selling the Heineken for $10 when you go to an event. And then you have them selling it for $8 and $9. I'm telling you, some places reasonable enough, they're selling it $6 and $7. But just by $1, $2, you go buy. And they bring everything up one lash. That's how they operate. And the prices are not going down. Just by $2. So it's a similar thing you're seeing with the sweet potato and the local stuff. I think it's unfair that taxpayers' money going towards helping you to produce stuff, and you turning around and selling it for so much. And you ask them, well, how much it takes to plant and harvest, to reach to the stage where you plant it and you harvest it. How much is the actual cost to produce a pound of sweet potatoes? How much? And they can't tell you. They just put a price, set a price. You had coconut water, for example. The actual coconut water. That used to be $5 a bottle and $4 a bottle. I can remember it used to sell for $3 a bottle. Right now, to get this little bottle of coconut water is $6 and $7. Some places, some still selling it for $5. But you ask them, but to fool that bottle, that little bottle, sometimes one coconut, one jelly, one coconut, fooling up that whole bottle. You understand the point? And then you have, you can actually buy that thing, that one coconut, that one jelly, right? For $3. For $3. But they put it in a plastic bottle that they pay cents for, and they sell it for $5 and $6. I'm saying, sometimes we complain and say things are hard, but you find out the root causes of things are hard and why things are hard. Some people are intentionally making it hard. You go to buy banana, green banana. You telling me 4 or 5 of that costing $12 and $10, a little Hana fig. How that reach so expensive all of a sudden? How? When you used to get a Hana fig for $3 and $2 and so, all of a sudden the price jumped to $10 and $11 because of scarcity. But it's wickedness too. Wickedness. Some of these people, they take advantage of the situation. Even corn, they just fix the price with the corn. Some people selling the roast corn. And everything, you ask them, how much are this one? $5. How much are this one? $5. How much? It's like a $5 thing. This $5 mentality. The small, the big, $5. And you're asking them how you come to that price? How all of a sudden, and they buying the corn from the farmer for $2. So they're making more than 100% profit. And in some instances, they buy it for $150, $175. And if the farmer tell them to come and help break the corn, they still thieving a whole portion. Some of them. But they're selling it so expensive. So that everything you go to buy sweet pepper, they tell you $5. Okra, $5. And everything is $5, $5 a bag, $5 a bag, $5 a bag. And you ask them, how you set the price? How you come to that price? Everything is $5. $5 a bag, $5 a bag, $5 a bag. And I am saying all of this to say that there are people going to call programs, right? Call programs just to push a certain agenda. In fact, today, there's one person with an NNP agenda called the Francis Pay Program, talking about the road walk. And see, some of them people don't get paid, and who don't get paid? A lie, a big lie. I passed by the bank on Friday. If you see people, the road workers, the contractors, all of them got their money and giving people their money, and so, right? It's and you wonder, but they're spreading that false information and they have platforms to do it. So they call programs and they just throw out lies and misinformation out there to fool the Grenadian people. So they call and they say, well, this one ain't get paid and that one ain't get paid. Then people get paid. But that's how they do it. And then this woman called the Plead Your Cause program on WFM, and she just attacking verbally the people at the Maribor Farm School and other, government estates. And when you get down to the meat of the thing, the people are doing the right thing because they're vendors. They go in and buy the sweet potato from the government, it's government-controlled estates and so on, and farm, and then they go and sell it for a pound and a crown. And yes, we know the government cannot control the prices of these things like they do for certain other items, right? But come on, you go in the market, you see some seasoning, chive and some, you have chive and thyme, and then you have a one or two other bush that they would add to it. Maybe they would get some shadow benny, one leaf of shadow benny, and then they would get this thing that they normally use for jacks and fish and so on. Is a bigger leaf than the thyme, right? And then the chive, and little thing, 2 for $5, 2 little pack of thing for $5, or 1 for 3. That's how they're selling it. That's how they're doing it. And you just check the thing out and you say, but how much money do really cost you to produce this thing? Why it's so expensive? Before time, them thing was $2 and $1.50. But all of a sudden, the price just jump. So they're making the thing hard intentionally to affect the people. And then they complain and say, oh, things hard, and things hard, and things hard. That's how they do it. But anyways, folks, let's talk about the NNP party and that bus rally they had yesterday. When I begin the program, I told you they're trying to come up with some excuse because they want to feel good, right? They want to feel good because right now they're hurting. They're disappointed. Deep within, they're disappointed with the turnout at that rally. Well, they call it a rally, but Keith Mitchell could have easily had or do that meeting thing in a school. They could have easily gone in some school, the Happy Hill Secondary School, and have that meeting because they didn't have that amount of people to call it a rally. The GBN news item tonight made me laugh a bit because they intentionally, in my belief, try to show a little, group of people, all right, in the pavilion area. And they zero in on that to make people believe that there were people there, in my belief. That's just my observation. I'm saying when NDC was in opposition, and even in government too, when they're having an event, the media people used to come early just to portray NDC as not having plenty people in their rally or in their meeting, and never forget that. But they would not do a piece with NNP and their meeting early. No, they would not do that. So there was a portal out, yes, but if they did it early, it would be even worse. So the media people, they have always been against NDC for a long, long time. And look, today, you've seen some of them getting a little chance to visit Guyana, right? And let me tell you this. These so-called reporters are journalists. They are going on the invitation. In other words, the Grenada government, through the Board of Tourism, right? The GTA, and that ministry responsible for that. They're the ones who get these people to go. You understand me? To go on this exchange thing, this tour to see Guyana. You hear me? The government giving them that opportunity. So all who you see go there, right? They got the opportunity through GTA, the Grenada Tourism Authority. But I want you to observe who are the people who got that opportunity. And then you can go back and look at who organizing, who is in that particular area, and who's in that particular area, and who's controlling who goes and who doesn't. Don't fool yourself, Don't fool yourself. There are certain people in certain key positions who are looking out for these type of people. You hear me? And the majority of those folks who you see fronting and so on, they don't like the government. Not all of them, but the majority of them, they don't like the government. No, they don't. So they're getting the opportunity to get exposure and they still come turning back and go on their program and badmouth the government and talk bad about the government. You hear me? That's how they do it. They would get the exposure. Some of them, they get all kind of opportunity. All kind of opportunity. But the minute time they get a chance to speak, they badmouthing the government. They don't like the NDC administration and the government at all. Right? But I'm saying historically, the media would always portray the NDC in a negative way. So they used to go to rallies that the NDC had. They're going early to capture the people just coming in and how they just start to gather and so on. But for the NNP, they're going late. So they're disappointed too, Some of them media people disappointed too. Because they expected the NNP rally to have a lot of people. But the rally bus. And I want to big up the 1,065 people who are viewing me now live. 1,065 people on Facebook and YouTube. So two of them put together is 1,066 now. All right? I want to big you up. So I am saying it is clear that the media, they have always had an agenda. They always want to portray the NDC in a bad light. But they're disappointed because the NNP had a bad showing, a poor showing at that rally. The rally bus. It was embarrassing to the NNP. But they still, you see, they do like a news item and they still try to make you believe that there was people at the rally. If you pass there and you pelt a marble, for example, it would not hit anybody, right? There were so few people there, very few. The NNP is in crisis. They're in crisis. And I tell people the reason why they're not getting support from our Grenadian brothers and sisters like before is because our people could read and write and reason. Our people are more involved in current affairs. They're following what is happening in the country, and they're happy with the direction that the country is going. They love what is happening for our people. You have, before time, you never had free tuition where more people are going to college and getting a college degree, higher education. You can't fool these people like before. No. You have universal education introduced. So everybody getting a chance to a secondary school education. And then you have a free hot meal program where they're feeding you a hot meal. 13,000 students benefiting from the free hot meal program, which is very significant. Then you have the free textbook program that the NDC introduced in the first, the NDC of Uncle Tilly. And then you have the back to school voucher program. And then you have the reintroduction of Grenadian history in schools and foreign language at the primary school level and TVET, the technical and vocational education training and so on. So a lot is happening to educate our people because education is liberation, Education is liberation. Because I would be in a conversation, and if you say something and I believe it's incorrect, I could easily take my phone and search, and I get the information within no time. Within no time. So people are more knowledgeable. That is why people gravitate towards this program, because you could learn something. You could be motivated. You could be empowered. You could be enlightened. You could know more. All right? So NNPs find it very difficult to attract people. You realize that the NNP, same core group of people, same people, and most of those elderly folks, they get in down in age, so they're not able to go to these things, and some of them die out too, right? But the younger set of people, they're not attracted by the NNP. The NNP cannot attract these young people to their party or to supporting anything that they're doing. They just can't. The young people would prefer to be associated with the NDC and this group of politicians who are forward-thinking, who are just like them, who are progressive in their thinking. And then you have a lot of people whose lives have been changed. A lot of families, they used to support NNP. They used to be around the NNP rallies and meetings, but now they no longer use pit latrines. The NDC built them a new modern bathroom and toilet facility. So they're happy with that. A lot of people got material assistance to repair their homes and so on. A lot of people are working right now. It is difficult to get a plumber. It is difficult to get an electrician. It is difficult to get a mason, a carpenter. It is difficult to even get laborers. Very, very difficult. Because a lot of work is taking place. A lot of people are at work. A lot of construction happening in this country, You go and speak to the people at Hubbard's. Go and speak to the people at Mahon and them, M&N Hardware. Go and speak to people at Postle, River Road. Go and speak to Ramdani. Go and speak to those hardware stores. And they will tell you, people are buying up stuff. People are building. People are repairing their homes. Things are happening. Besides Carriacou and Petit Martinique, because we know what happened there. But generally across the country, and the government is also pumping a lot of millions of dollars in housing, in the housing program, repairs and building of new houses and so on. And then you have Project 500. A lot is happening there, Do you know almost 10 houses, the foundation for almost 10 houses completed already? All the columns and everything like that almost 10 houses up there in Dunfermline, and then they're doing the major drains and so on. So a lot of work is taking place in the country. People are at work. Men and women are at work. Can the amount of security firms set up throughout the country? People are working. And then the debushing program continues. So while the NNP want you to believe that it's not ongoing, they lie. The last fortnight is ongoing, is now ongoing. The last fortnight, this is the last fortnight. It will take you up to about the 14th, the 15th around there. Right? The last fortnight. That is what they're experiencing now. So it's going to take you just before Christmas. Right? So things are happening in the country. Things are happening. So the NNP, they want you to believe that things are bad. But you go and speak to ordinary people now. Things are happening for them. But you see, the NNP supporters, they have always been a kind of lazy set of people. They want to hand out. They want frico. They want things easy. So they would always be there complaining, grinding, and groaning. Because they're not enjoying what they used to enjoy. They have to work now for it. Things are a bit different. And it's taking a toll on them. A serious toll on them. So the people of the country are happier. Look at our beloved Prime Minister being recognized internationally, being recognized regionally, no matter where he goes. The gentleman is doing a very, very good job to sell Grenada, to market Grenada, to get good deals for Grenada. Because he knows what he's doing. He's operating with a plan. So I think he's returning to Grenada either tonight or tomorrow. So he'll be returning here. Maybe he's here already from Morocco. And not just him, it's a whole pack. A number of regional leaders went to that very important function. Very important. So the NNP, they don't understand the importance of going out there and signing agreements and entering into agreements with international partners and governments. They don't understand that. They just want to see our beloved Prime Minister here in Grenada and the ministers here remain here. And then they would still complain about not getting this, not seeing that, not seeing this, not seeing that. But I'm happy that our beloved Prime Minister is onboarded. He's not even studying about the NNP folks. He's putting the country first and working in the best interest of the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. Things are happening. Things are happening for our people. I'm extremely happy to see what is happening. People are at work. You go every nook and cranny of the country. People are at work. They're working in their farms because why? They got a lot of assistance from the government of Grenada to get back on their feet again. The small businesses, they got a lot of assistance from the government of Grenada. Those small businesses. The CES program, up to $30,000 in grant, money they don't have to pay back. Yes, taxpayers' money, but money they don't have to pay back. And then they have $25 million to access in the Grenada Development Bank in loans/grants. Training opportunities for so many of them, the entrepreneurs and so on. So a lot is happening for the farmers and the fishers in the country. A lot. Don't even talk about the contractors. They're receiving constant training and assistance to do their work better. The government is investing in more technical and vocational training. So a lot of things happening here in Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. A lot. But there still will be people, those NNP supporters, they will still tell you things are not happening and this bad and that bad. And you just go and listen to them. And you ask them, but, right, Norris James. Right, so you go and talk to the people at Norris James and, the other firms. And they will tell you materials getting scarce quick. Steel, the lumber and everything else. Even blocks. Go and speak to gravel and concrete. Blocks scarce sometimes. Within no time, by the time they rest it down, they don't even cure yet. People want to rush it. They're rushing it. You just go and speak to them. You go and speak to the businesses in the country, and they will tell you the hotels, they are doing well. Tourist season open. Look at the amount of additions to the product, right? Just check it out. Hotels are doing well. Guest houses are doing well. Taxi operators are doing well. Tour guides are doing well. They're at work. Yes, we know it will last about 6 so months. But in the meanwhile, they're doing well. You speak to the taxi operators at the airport, they will tell you that they're enjoying it now because you have more flights coming in on a daily basis. More flights thanks to this government. More flights. So things are happening for our people. Things are happening. You just speak to people who work on the port, for example. They will tell you that things busy there. And that's a good indication of how things are happening, in terms of the economy. What is happening in the economy? So, look, the government is at work. We must commend the government. They're doing a fantastic job. Yes, we know some of those MPs or ministers, they have to do more in their constituency. We know that. There's always room for improvement. But the government is at work. Things are happening for our people. Grenada is in stable hand. Stable hand. And there's peace and tranquility in this place. But look at the NNP. They fight it among themselves. There is serious instability and infighting within the NNP. Real problems on the other side. So let us remain focused. Let us keep our eyes on the prize. Let us understand the mission. This is about Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. And please register, register, register. When you come to Grenada for vacation, you're a Grenadian. Register to vote. All you need is your birth certificate. All you need is a valid Grenadian passport. And you just get a bill. So you might be living, you're in a house. Let's say you're in a particular house. Just take a bill from that house. It doesn't have to be on your name. Just proof of location. So you can put it on the voters list. And then go and get registered. So come the next election, you can vote. You can participate to keep the transformation agenda alive and well. We don't want to go back. We don't want to see Keaton, NNP, and them come back in power. You're mad. We don't want that. Right? We don't. But we must register. Registration is key. Registration is key, people. That's important. Very important. But folks, we are past the time to wrap up. I want to thank you very much for being a part of the program. I want to wish you all the best. Thanks to the people who shared the program. I wish you all the best. Sleep well. Tomorrow, God's willing, I'll be back with you again, starting from 8 in the a.m. as we continue a journey together. Bye for now. Bye for now. Bye for now. Oh, before I close the program, I want to extend my deepest condolences to the family and friends of that lady in the mall. She had this, the store is still there, the Clark store. It's a English, is it English store? English Clark store, right? She passed away. I learned she passed away. She was a very, very nice lady. She used to listen to this program very often. She, from time to time, used to support this program, right? And in particular, some of the things that I was doing, right? She was very supportive of it. I understand she passed away. May her soul rest in peace. I don't know her name, but she was a very, very nice person to me. In fact, when I pop in there, she would say, well, take that blazer, take that shoes, take this, take that, She was very, very nice to me. I want to extend my deepest condolences to her family and friends. All right? So, folks, I know there are a number of people who lost loved ones. I want to extend my deepest condolences to them.